Super Training family, how's it going? We have a kettlebell series coming to you instructed by Hannah Eden Fitness. Now we just had Hannah on the Mark Bell's Power Project, but Hannah is an expert with kettlebells, CrossFit, animal flow, HIIT training, a lot of different styles of training, and with kettlebells, she's really, really good and has a lot of awesome cues. So stay tuned, because in this video you're going to learn the basics and the correct ways to perform the kettlebell swing.
So I think starting position is going to determine where you go from next.
Okay.
So I like to start, this is a rule of thumb by the way, so we don't have to be so literal with it, but with the kettlebell right between your big toe joints. And now from here I'm going to take my right foot, get a 90-degree angle out, and now I'm going to bring my heel backwards, and I'll do the same thing with this leg, so out and back. Now generally this is kind of like a triangle, right? So if the kettlebell was the tip of the triangle, my feet are the base, I always want the kettlebell to be in front of me. So step number one is understanding the hinging of the hips rather than the squatting. So I always like to say, yes.
Good, huh? Okay.
A lot of people will just squat down immediately.
Yep.
I want you to soften your knees and then karate chop your hips back. Hi-ya.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
I like these cues. I'm gonna steal these cues.
Please do, man. Please do.
Nice.
Toes pointing forward or slightly out, depending on preference. Now, my back is nicely engaged here, but I don't want to bend my back and compromise my form. So if I can't reach the bell, I'm simply just going to drop my knees a little bit lower, grab onto the handle, tilt the handle towards me, and then to lock in your lats, a really good cue is to tell your people to snap the handle. So if you try and snap the handle, we've got external rotation, shoulders become depressed, and now we're engaged. Now from here, the first triangle was on the floor. The second triangle is now going to be two bases being my feet and my crotch being the tip. And now, so I'm going to hike that kettlebell into the highest point in my triangle. Once I receive it, I'm going to literally hump the air, for lack of a better term, extend the hips and generate power from my posterior chain. You ready?
Yep.
So here we go. So we're going to hike it up and through. So we receive it, we drive it. We receive, we drive. So hinging at the hips, sending the hips back and forth rather than back and down. Always keeping the shoulders depressed, allowing the hips to receive and drive.
Do you have any tips for timing? One thing that I notice with people is that they're like, they come here, like, it'll look like this.
Okay.
Whew. Yeah, like that.
Absolutely.
So do you have any tips for that?
Clench your ass. Clench your ass so tight, because at the top of the swing, your kettlebell's supposed to float. So technically, if I was to let go, the kettlebell would stay there. I can even let go of my grip, and it would stay there. So if I clench my ass, that helps me not pull too soon. Allow the kettlebell to go where it wants to go. Try not to move it, because the whole idea is this is an unconventional tool. You can't interfere with the momentum, right? If you do, you're going to change the way that things are happening, and it's not going to flow straight. So don't squat, right? Okay. Number one, and point being, if I was to show you from the side here, go ahead and squat for me.
Squat?
Yep. Now if you were to thrust your hips, how would that happen? Boom, right?
Yeah.
So at the top of your kettlebell swing, it's almost like a plank, but the wrong way around. So your arms should be straight in front of you. Shoulders, hips, and ankles should be stacked. And if you squeeze your ass as tight as you can, it's going to be a lot harder to hyperextend.
Yep.
Whereas if we squat, we're going to lose that strength, and we're going to have a leak in the form. Hips are going to come way too far forward, and you're going to end up pinching that lower back. So I like to call it a power pocket. So now show me a hinge. So this is your hinge point, this is your upright point. So now we have from here to generate power. So for lack of a better term, I want you to hump the air and squeeze your ass. Boom. That's going to be power. I want you to exert as much power with every single repetition as possible. So there's different styles of kettlebell training, hard style or efficiency. We prefer to go for hard style. So maximum output with every single rep.
The feet. Because a lot of people, like especially when they're swinging, if their feet aren't on the ground, their heels come up. So what should they do to get their foot control?
I love that. So everyone's mobility is different, but I want you to imagine that your feet are rooted to the floor. If you grip in, it will automatically corkscrew the hips and help you engage your glutes. Whereas if we let go, again, that's a leak in the chain. So with the feet glued on the floor, try not to let your heels come off and go from there. And I do want to say one thing is that a lot of people will try and focus on the end position. When it comes to kettlebell swings, especially with the world that we live in, we have a window in the front where the kettlebell can land.
Okay.
The kettlebell doesn't need to come up so high, especially if you're starting to increase weights. Just know that if you're swinging a bell that's really heavy and your hips can only power to here, that's okay. Don't compromise your form by trying to pull it with your upper body to come up. The only thing that's generating power here is your posterior chain. That power is going to go through your body to the bell It'll come up as high as your hips can get it. Then relax, squeeze your ass. Once it wants to come down, allow it to come down. Allow the forearms to connect with the body. Hips hinge again. Receive it in that power position. Thrust the hips, and the same thing's gonna happen. And just let it go back and forth.
I noticed that. Some people, when they swing, their arms are out here, but sometimes you're here, you're right here. So is there a difference between being here and being here?
So there's different engagement. It depends who's watching now, right? So my physical therapist is always like, I know that you want to have straight arms. I know you want to be here. But when you are, you're not engaged. So he's always telling me that idea is snapping the handle.
Yeah.
Keep it in this way.
So you always keep that engaged, and that's why you're, okay, that makes a lot of sense. So here, I didn't
see the difference?
Yeah, that's sick.
And but from a performance standpoint, a lot of people will be here, but my physical therapist is like, there's no engagement, man. Like, pull your shoulders back, depress them, and try and snap that handle at the top of the rep, just like you do at the beginning. And try not to leave that engagement in the back.
That's a big fucking deal.
It is indeed.
Okay, is there anything else you think that people should know about kettlebell swings?
Yes, real quick, it's head position. Your eyes gazing forward no matter where your torso is. So whatever you do with your head is going to determine what happens to your spine, right? So when we see swings that look like this, that's not good. When the chin is up, no matter where your body is, eyes are forward, right? So when you walk around and your eyes are forward, that's here. If you were to have your body parallel to the floor and I was to stand up like this, we don't walk around like this, right? So keep your chin tucked, nice neutral spine, not to be mistaken with vertical. It's nice straight spine, no matter where your torso is, eyes are always gazing forward. Don't let the chin touch the chest, and none of this stuff because you're gonna arch your back.
Sick. I think that's it. I think this is one of the most detailed kettlebell swing videos on the internet at this point. So thank you, Hannah.
No worries, man. I'm glad I could help.
Yeah. You guys should check out the podcast that we have, Hannah Eden. It was fucking amazing. We had a lot of good stuff and poop stories.
I was gonna say, yeah.
But Hannah, where can people find you?
Oh man, Hannah Eden _fitness. It's HANNAHEDEN or HannahEdenFitness.com. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Yep. See you guys later. This is Nsima, Inyang, and Hannah from the Super Training Gym. Strength is never a weakness. Weakness is never strength. Catch y'all later.